Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Now Eden, you've been very bad recently. This is your chance to be good. And Eden has chosen poorly. Eden has chosen poorly. But that's okay, you know, every run doesn't have to have good tier rate, good damage, good health, good items, good passives. You can have all of those be bad. Oh, we've got the aura thing as well. I wouldn't get too attached to this. The Halo Flies actually stopped the shot hitting me there, surprisingly. Thank you, Rydog, for 38 months in a row with a tier, with a Twitch Prime tier sub. That's a tier as well, it counts. I didn't misspeak. Is this the dice that rerolls my stats or just rerolls the blocks? Oh, it's reroll enemies. That's even worse. Look at what the dog dragged in. Thanks for entertainment and keep up the great work. Thank you. It's a boy. His oh, why isn't chat? Is chat on screen? Yeah, it is. Okay, I forgot that it disappears fairly quickly. He spelt it B-R-I-A-R. That's a weird way to spell Flik, but I'll take it. Must be some kind of like foreign pronunciation. Hello, Echo. You subbed, but you got an ad. Pre-roll ads are different as far as I'm aware. Although now when I run mid-ads, it builds up credit for people to not get pre-ads. Which is nice, I guess. I don't run enough to permanently get no pre-ads. They expect you to run like a few minutes of ads every hour, which I'm not willing to do. So if you see anybody who does start doing that, that's why. It's technically for a good reason. I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of it after the Christmas season, honestly. So this run makes me want to die because we're firing so slowly and so weakly. Kind of just want to deliberately restart. Halo Flies is good, it just doesn't help us. Hello Tombury, why are you tired? Our clocks are back in sync. What are you? Weak? Oh, there you go, that's why you had to redo it. Thank you Echo for 19 months with Twitch Prime. So actually that's why you got one, but the other stuff I said about like building up credit with mid-rolls to get rid of pre-rolls for anybody popping in, that's true. It is a new feature they're testing. Which I think went live this month. I got a pop-up on my dashboard about it, so why did they all go into this one corner? So presumably it's true. Or active, rather. Jesus. V for Vendetta didn't release on the 5th of November? That'd be too on the nose. You have to stay up till 4:30 in the morning? Yeah, and? Also, wasn't it 3:30? Or is it back to 3:30 now? If you ever start your sleep cycle, I'm basically screwed, is what you're saying. You just have to move back to Ireland where you came from. Hello, Vice President. I know what I said. This is not a good room when you have no damage, no tears, and no items. No, and if you touch an elite, you just die. Oh, Book of the Dead is much better. Oh, we actually start with damage. Oh, this is so much better. 0xPWE6P3 is the seed. This is an actual run. It's a bit too far in the other direction. That's alright. No, honestly, the Razor is fine too. Oh, we went back an hour, but you go forwards an hour? Well, that's what you get for living in a backwards country. Move back to Ireland. The stare means he knows I'm right. He just pretends to be Scottish because he knows that Scottish people get the girls. Whereas Irish people just get a lot of people asking them, what? C'est la vie. I called you Irish like 3 times. Did you not even notice the first time I did it? 4 times? There was a few times. You really are sleep deprived if you didn't pick up on it. What if you're Scottish and a girl? I'll let you know if it happens. And there's the bombs for the tinted rock. Yeah, we'll use one here as well. Could get our bomb back. Even better, honestly. Small rock. When have I caught there's no point trying to reason with him. He's gone to the sleep. He's too far gone. Get the shotgun. The rusty one. It doesn't usually fire right. There's usually a little bit of backdash. Back blast. I don't know if I want to use 2 keys on that door. So anyway, as I was saying, we're recording this on the 5th of November. Fireworks night, Guy Fawkes night, whatever you want to call it. You could just call it the 5th of November if you don't celebrate. And yesterday was absolutely horrific weather-wise. Oh, we could do... no. Could have done Mega Satan, but Book of the Dead is a good item. And you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, because if you do, it will spit on you. Yesterday's weather was absolutely appalling. Gale force winds and heavy rain. I still managed to get Sora out, got absolutely soaked. I was like, oh, I can't be asking like a big shopping trip in this. I'll ask my mother to take us to a more local place so we can just be out for like 10 minutes. Drop me off. She was still wanting to go shopping. But... and then I just stayed in all day with my dog, listening to the howling wind and the rain battering the windows, painting and assembling miniatures, and watching Marvel movies. This is my life now. Specifically, I'm watching all the Marvel movies in order presented by Marvel. Not the order published, the order the story goes. Which will also include watching films I haven't actually seen that I missed. Like for instance both Ant-Man's and Captain Marvel, eventually. Thank you Lan Kochang for 1 month in a row with 3 in total. I don't know if this something works, what am I doing? You're doing it right, as long as you actually meant to show support. If you didn't, then you did it wrong, but I benefit, so you're doing fine. So on Sunday I watched Iron Man 1 and I talked a little bit about that. On my day off I got from... well, I think, what's after Iron Man? I've forgotten now. Oh, The Incredible Hulk, but like it's not Mark Ruffalo, it's Fight Club guy. What's his name? Edward Norton.
A gift for you.
So I went from The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton right up to the first Avengers. Hello Sly Thief, and thank you Phelan for gifting a tier 1 sub to Artro. I don't remember how many red hearts I had, but clearly at least 2. Exactly 2. Okay, just had to be sure. I'm curious, is it known why Edward Norton didn't stay on to play Bruce Banner for like the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Did he just not want to do it? Did they think he was bad? I'm curious if it's... can you Google that? Is it an answer that is Googleable? Because I personally think he was terrible. But I also think that the script did him no favours because he has about 2 minutes worth of dialogue in the whole thing and it's all terrible. But I also don't think he put any effort in at all, and I could just see him as the Fight Club guy the whole way through. He wanted it to be a very different story. How? That's why Hulk doesn't work as a standalone movie. He gets angry and smashes things. Well, I'm glad they got... Well, I'm glad he stepped away, let's say then, if he wasn't sacked for being bad, because Mark Ruffalo is much, much better. He wanted it to be darker. They have a set of movies for that. They're called the DC ones. Telepathy for Dummies. Well, that's book number 2. Thank you, Zeppo, for 30 months in a row, which you allege to be 30 years? 3 years. We'll see about that. We'll see. Thank you, Phelan, for the bits. My badge Woo also hit him in the hearty spots. Violence is all the answers. Use all the colours.
Oh.
Our decision is definitely not one based on monetary factors, but instead rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit over other talented cast members. Okay, they thought he was bad. Good to know. Glad for them to spell it out there. I agree, he was not good. Also, they did a really weird thing in the movie that I'm glad they didn't keep in the rest of the Marvel movies, where like he thinks his heart rate is tied to him turning into the Hulk, which it's not. So like there's a part where he's gonna have sex with, what's her name? Lady Ross, General Ross's daughter. And he's like, no, I can't because my heart rate will get too high, so I'm never allowed to have sex again. Which is not how it works. He wasn't allowed to get a boner because the Hulk wouldn't let him. Yeah, basically. Which is very strange. Yeah, the villain is Abomination in that one. For being an old movie, the CG wasn't super bad. I kind of felt it was was even a little bit better looking than the first Iron Man movie. Which I think came later. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a good movie, but it is part of the cinematic universe. In fact, in the first Avengers movie, Mark Ruffalo references it happening, even though it wasn't him. You can get a raging boner? Now you're speaking. Also, I never realised it until watching them very close to each other, but Iron Man 1 and Thor 1 are the exact same movie. Cocky asshole gets brought down to Earth by earth-shattering event, becomes a better person, ends up fighting a giant robot. Literally the same movie. Just one is magic and one is technology. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Until Ragnarok, I found Thor, like, standalone stuff to be very uninteresting. The robot is also controlled by a manipulative person they trusted. Yes, exactly. Oh, look. So I'm enjoying myself. I watched a couple more today. I'm up to... what am I think I'm up to Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Because I think that comes before Age of Ultron, timeline-wise. We are done on this floor. So I watched Thor 2 for the first time, and it's not very good. Not terrible. Largely just boring and ugly, and it takes place, well, other than the stuff in Asgard. It takes place in London, so it's no wonder it's an ugly movie, because London is a horrible looking, horrible place. But yeah, it was kind of boring. There was not nearly enough Thor-Loki banter to be interesting, and the villain was incredibly forgettable. It was like Steppenwolf. No place like London? No, there's plenty of slums, it's just London is especially large. It's an awful place. Did they go to China? No, they didn't start doing that until Age of Ultron. Oh wait, maybe it was Winter Soldier? No, we didn't go to... No. Also, I liked Iron Man 2 a little bit more than I remembered liking it, and I disliked Iron Man 3 less. Because it fits as part of the story proper if you watch it right after Avengers 1. I didn't like Winter Soldier as much as I remembered liking it, because I really, really liked that one when I saw it. I think it's because once you know like the twists, because it is a spy movie, not a superhero movie, it's less interesting second time around. So it's definitely the one that diminishes. It's like Hollow Knight, it diminishes in enjoyment the second time around. But it's still good. Yeah, Iron Man 3 is right after the first Avengers, because the whole storyline of Iron Man 3 is Tony has PTSD. And apropos of what we've been talking about in recent Isaac runs, he's suffering from anxiety attacks. And they actually portray it fairly accurately, I will say. Just a sudden horror followed by a desperate need to leave the situation. I like the Mandarin thing. I like the... what's the name of the guy who played the Mandarin? The fake Mandarin, not the real Mandarin. It's Ian something, right? I really like his performance. His serious performance, and then his like goofy, I'm actually just an actor performance. Ben Kingsley, that's the one. Why did I think it was Ian? 3 letters, I guess. I mean, I remember the Mandarin from the Iron Man cartoon in the 90s, and I still didn't care that they tried something different. I think people would have liked it best if the actual Mandarin wasn't so bad. I didn't remember him being as bad as I thought he was second time around. No charisma, he doesn't come across as a threatening villain at all. Like, his henchmen are more threatening than he is. Oh, Ty did a redeem a pun, but not for himself. That's a little strange. Also, thank you, Lost Compass, for 20 months with Twitch Prime. You're not allowed to bank your points for someone else's pun. That's not cool. That's not capitalism. Or maybe it is, I'm not sure. Oh, good. I reserve the right not to agree to the terms that Ty has laid out. You saw the Iron Man animated movie? I haven't seen any of the movies. Like, the only animated Iron Man stuff I've seen, for God's sake, I've seen, as I say, is the old cartoon from the 90s. Which is referenced in Iron Man 2, because in the Iron Man cartoon he always had his suit as a briefcase that he put on. I don't want that. No. 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 You know what, that's fine, just to keep things going here. I don't remember what it was called. I just remember it was Iron Man. I remember him, like, he opens up his suitcase and it forms the legs, and the suitcase is silver, but then it changes into Iron Man colours with no explanation other than it's a cartoon and they didn't have continuity. Distinctly remember that, because I remember it pissing me off when I was a kid. It's like, the suitcase is silver, how does it turn yellow and red? Also, that is fireworks going off directly outside my window. That's kind of nice looking. It's a lot of them though. They're very pretty. You'll just have to take my word for it. Literally the house across the street. The dog is slightly bothered. It's okay, honey. You're gonna go hide in the bedroom. Yeah, it'll be quieter in there. Hang on, let me... It's a shame they bother dogs so much, because they are pretty to look at. Still going off. Surely you have to reload. I don't know how audible the pops are, but apologies if they are. Obviously there's nothing I can do. It's the night we're recording on. Thank you, Luke, for 21 months with Twitch Prime. This is last Tuesday, but still thanks for the great content. Oh wait, this is from last Tuesday. I thought you were dying. Slight pops. How many fireworks can come off of one thing? Also, I just saw somebody like crouched and running, because maybe one almost hit him. I almost got hit by a firework once. It wasn't even on Guy Fawkes night. It It must have been just before or just after, so somebody had leftover fireworks. And it wasn't late at night because we were young, but I was outside like the back garden of my family house with my sister and a couple of my friends, and I felt something singe and whiz past my ear, and I was like, what the hell was that? And luckily I didn't turn around too fast, because then it popped next to me. Oop. Hopefully we can trade this away. Well, we can. We're doing it for double vision. By which I mean bookworm, which gives you occasional double vision. And by double vision, I mean 2020. It's like the house you used to live in. You had a front row seat in my bedroom for the beautiful fireworks on the 4th of July, so you didn't need to pay to sit and watch. Nice. So Sora is cowering in her bed. I don't hear her crying or anything, so hopefully she'll be fine. At worst, I'll probably just have to clean up some sick like I did on New Year's Eve. Well, New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. What were we talking about before that? Oh right, wasting my time watching all the Marvel movies again. It's getting me hype for Crisis Protocol, I will say that. Which is the miniature game based on Marvel that's out in 10 days? No, 9 days. Especially because the Batman miniature game is in a state of flux, and I'm not sure I like what I hear about 3rd edition yet. Hello, Froglair. I thought it was the 14th. Alright, well, 10 days then. Maybe it's different in the UK. I managed to cross off quite a few miniatures. Like, I've assembled everything I got in the Night Models order. I painted, well, I posted a picture on Twitter of a couple of things I painted, like the Arkham Knight Nightwing, General Zod and his 2 followers, Fiora and I think the other one's called like Nemo or Nenu or something. Couple of Wraithguard, that's like all the Wraithguard in the, well, all the Eldar units in the most recent battle reports, they're all painted now. I'll be taking a break from painting Wraith constructs because I've painted way too many. It's like Valinar and his orcs. Oh yeah, it's the same day as Pokemon. It's that super busy 15th. Now I know people don't want spoilers for the new Pokemon, but I will say I decided to look into the list of confirmed, not like nothing to do with new Pokemon, but what old Pokemon are in the game, and I wasn't happy about certain decisions, let's put it that way. One specific decision really. But it also did come across like they were just like, they had all the Pokemon up on a dartboard and just threw darts. I was like, okay, they're in. Nope, that one missed. Came across a lot like that. So like I pontificated on Twitter, I think this might be the first generation of Pokemon where they do DLC rather than just release the same game again a year later with like a few extra Pokemon. Because I think they're going to want to monetize and expand the cooperative raid stuff. I have nothing to back this up. It's just the impression I'm getting, because we know they lied about the reason they weren't putting all the Pokemon in, because they're reusing assets anyway. So my theory is they're going to do content updates. They want to make a lot of money with this one. You know, basically doing like the Monster Hunter approach now. I guess Iceborne is the exception, but prior to Iceborne. Or rather, no, they're doing the Iceborne thing, but not as an expansion, whereas before they did the same thing, which was release an ultimate version of the game with slightly more stuff a year later. We'll see if I'm right. I'm going to double check if I was right about the next. What am I watching next now that I've finished Winter Soldier? Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man is the next set of 3. You've done so much model building this week. Yup, definitely loads. The emotes give you away, sir. Well, I've never seen Ant-Man, so I'll be able to tell you what I thought of it later this week. The thing is, with the Marvel Cinematic stuff, their worst efforts are still a hell of a lot better than most other movies. Like, I didn't enjoy Thor 2, but it didn't feel torturous, it felt a little boring. If I'd seen it in the cinema, I probably would have been like, that wasn't worth it. And even ones that I remembered being fairly bad, I was like, that's not too bad. Like, Iron Man 2, it's like, yeah, Whiplash is a totally forgettable villain, but that's not really the point. Iron Man 2 is about Tony Stark thinking he's dying, and then Iron Man 3 is about him having post-traumatic stress syndrome. The villains are just there to give him something to punch for a little bit at the end. And they did test different stuff eventually. Like, as much as I'm saying Iron Man 1 and Thor 1 are the exact same movie, they branched out. Like Homecoming being a comedy, Winter Soldier being a spy movie. One key to get into a locked chest. I'll do it. Give me the bones. I will roll them. In your face. Don't spoil Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'll get to that as well. I don't have like every single movie because they actually, like, the final phase, they did phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 part 1 and phase 3 part 2. And phase 3 part 2 is out on the 10th, I think, because it includes Far From Home, which I also haven't seen. And that's the transition movie from the first arc of Marvel movies into the new one with younger actors. Actually, I can tell you the other order if you give me a second. Where is it? I've got it sitting here. Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok. And then it goes to Infinity War. Not necessarily in the order I'm saying, but Infinity War, Ant-Man 2, Endgame, and Far From Home. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Either way. Oh, The Long Kiss Goodnight is a great film. That's the one with Samuel Jackson and the lady who's an unknown assassin, right? I liked that movie a lot as a kid. Well, as a young teenager. Would you stop firing and spawning, Brownie? No, Brownie said. I would rather carry on. Why are you atting me saying Captain Marvel? Oh, I forgot to mention Captain Marvel, thank you. Which is just before Endgame, I guess? Alright, more air and HP, that's fine. I'm gonna go to the shop and see if I can get a Spirit Heart to cover the damage that bullshit boss just did. It has been many, many years since I've seen The Long Kiss Goodnight, but I still remember loving it enough that I could definitely recommend it. Evil Vice President, you're a fan of Samuel Jackson. If you've not seen The Long Kiss Goodnight, put it on your list. Do we still have a shop? We've got one more shop. It might be worth it for something. It's quite old. I don't know if it was... It must have been early 90s, right? Must have been. No, did I say 1890s? Okay, it was 1996. Sorry, I got my decades confused. It's like, that happens when you're very old. It's perfectly normal. Oh, actually, Valner hasn't dozed off with all the comic book conversation. The villain in Thor 2, Dark Elf called Malekith. The one in Warhammer looks better. They sound about the same, mind you. Oh, that was an enemy. Did I get damage down at some point? Why does it feel like we've not got the killing power we started with? Or is it just because I haven't had a damage up at all yet? I've had 3 HP ups. Yep, yeah, never mind. I solved the riddle of the Sphinx. It's the exact same last run we had, where I had good damage to start with and then never got any stat up increases that mattered after that. That's a very spray explodey one right there. That was Chris Eccleston? I honestly didn't realise either. Although now that you've said that, I can totally see his face under all that CG. Yeah, you use it in a room that had no enemies. Very smart. Uh-oh. Everything is fine. Oh, GameSworks have tried to copyright everything. That's why all their stuff has such ridiculously stupid names. Now. Because they kept on losing lawsuit attempts. Lemon party. He didn't want to say it, so I said it for him. Still need the shop and item room. I'm reminding myself, not you. Roll them bones. My ABS was flaring up a little bit on my day off as well, so honestly I'm not opposed to having wasted it watching movies and painting. Sitting around listening to the rain outside that I'd rather not be in. We need to start working on how I'm going to phrase a exclamation mark Pokemon command for when I play Sword on stream. To ward off people who think a child's game needs to be heavily backseated or criticised. Well, my play being criticised, I should say. That is a good item. This could be good. Okay. Let's blow you up for some more cash. We'll take the Pokemon Go app. We'll take the bomb. We'll take the pill. Peppered it and just used it without knowing what it was. We still need our item room. Also, could you please stop quoting the movie if your vice president's going to go watch it? You ruin all the best bits. Actually, is there an official description of Pokemon somewhere where it's like, this game is meant for people age 3 and up? You know, something like that? I feel like... Ooh. Well, I have to take it. It's been a really, really long time since I had Ipecac, so there will be a transitioning period of... Oh, and double vision occasionally. There'll be a period of exclamation? Examination? Experimentation? That's the one. Just say E words until you find the one you meant. Suicide King. No, thank you. I think the boss was up here. I don't need to be careful about anything about my opinion on Sword and Shield. Honestly, if there's people who want to actually it, that will just make me say it more to annoy them. It is an exceptionally lazy game. I've seen the monster list, and nothing will change that unless they're holding it back for DLC. Although making Pokemon fans angry might just make my list of favourite things to do. Because you know they're all adults. That's the part that makes it funny. Because the kids who like Pokemon, they don't care. They're playing Pokemon and enjoying it. Maybe backseating like, oh, you should have used that type. They don't get mad at you just disliking aspects of the game. That's the adult players that get mad at that. They're the most fun to make fun of. Ticket. I don't remember what M is. Oh, no, I do. Oops. Now would be a good time to place bets as to whether or not this run ends by an enemy killing me or me accidentally blowing myself up. Oh, and rooms like this, potentially. That was very lucky. Pretty fly. Not really good for maintaining an audience though when you make fun of that type of thing, but I'm past caring about that at this point. Oh no, I'd be backseating off of another meme. Because I was just thinking, what could you have? And I was thinking, have a exclamation Pokemon command and then it just says OK Gamer. But I'm stealing the OK Boomer thing. No, I need something more original. I already told you that Sword had Sir Farfetch and you said you didn't care. Or are you meaning other cool bird? Because there is no other cool bird except Sir Farfetch'd and his gun lance. Is there any advantage to me not having HP? Yes there is, so I might as well just take this and hope for the best. What other cool burb? So that's a no to stealing the OK Boomer meme and changing it to OK Gamer for Pokemon backseating. Ooh. Range up is pretty good with Ipecac. Is there a name for OG Pokemon players? Gen 1ers. Of which I can't myself. What's that? I can't hear you over the Pokemon that's a key ring. I can't hear you over the Pokemon that's an ice cream. They've tried more with this generation, I will say that. Except the starter evolutions, which are definitely just furry porn bait. But other than that, the rest of it looks good. They know their audience. They've made their decision. See what I mean? Zeppo likes the Barra Monkey. I don't know what that means, but he likes it, so I can read between the lines. Hello, Robin. Don't mind the pops in the background, we're at war. England heard what I said about London and took it as a personal slight and are now attempting to invade. They're using it as an excuse to get access to our iron brew mines, which is where all the iron brew comes from. We mostly just make the unicorns work in there now, which is why you never see them. What? I was swatting myself. Yeah, no, it grows in the can, obviously. We've just got to put the little ring on it that you pull out. Yeah, get mad at the fireworks, Sora. Bark at them. Bark away the fireworks. Okay, no secret room. There was no enemies in that room. What am I doing? Wow, she died real quick. Damn. I think Lemon Party was actually hitting her, even though she floats. You like about 90% of the ghost type Pokemon? That's fair. Like, not counting horny Pokemon, what type has the largest majority of ones that are like, yeah, that's fine. You might be right about it being ghost. Like, if you wanted to go for a less, like, well, there isn't that many ghost types compared to other types. Maybe grass? Is there any, like, really annoying, terrible grass ones? Yeah, don't put any direct links to the lists in chat or anything like that. That goes for Discord as well, just to know people don't want to see the list. That's why I'm not mentioning anything specifically. You're a slut for water types. Well, in that case, prepare to be very horny. Okay. Sudowoodo? What do you have against Sudowoodo? I have a thing against him in Pokemon Go because there was a spell where he just showed up way too much and he doesn't do anything. He's a rock tree? Yeah. What about Turtwig? The turtle that's also a twig. Anything that isn't Gen 1 should be honoured that I know its name. God damn it, 2 of these awful rooms in one. Huh. Do spiders get sucked down holes? The answer is no. So between everybody in chat who'll be getting one version of the game, we'll be able to trade with each other to make sure we get all the available decks. Like the version... Did I say virgin? Version exclusive Pokemon. We'll be able to trade as a community for that stuff. You can just arrange stuff via Discord come the time. And I'll be doing the multiplayer stuff on stream as well, like the competitive, no, the cooperative stuff I should say. We'll go find a Machamp in the wild and then run away from it terrified because the exceptionally swole muscle monster is coming to beat you to death. You know, I still haven't seen Detective Pikachu. I should ask my mother if she has it on DVD. Oh, my mother and I entered into a legitimate business agreement today. Well, not today, sorry, yesterday when I saw her on Monday. Because she said to me, so what do you want for Christmas? And then she caught herself and said, if I get you something for Christmas, you're going to get me something, right? And I said, yeah. And then she said, but I don't want you to. So I said, well, don't get me anything then. She said, okay, are we in agreement that if I... Oh, double tinted drop. If I don't get you something, you won't get me something. And I said, yeah. And we did the equivalent of a handshake and was like, okay, we're in agreement. We're not getting ourselves anything, and we're not pretending to do it either. We're actually not getting anyone anything. Because neither of us care about Christmas. And she doesn't want her kids spending money on her. My sister, on the other hand, she cares about Christmas, so we're exchanging gifts. And she texted me what she wants. She's not. Although, actually, I remembered after we had that discussion that we were in the supermarket and there's these tubs of flying saucers, which are like those sugar paper sweets. It was a tradition for a while that every year for Christmas she would get me one, and I think she bought one, so she technically already has got me something. So, in the shop on Monday I saw that there's lemon flavored dime bars, and she's really into lemon, so I got her a pack of 3 of them. So we've made a trade, or we will make a trade for those 2. It's all very legitimate and very cool. I'm just going to ask my sister for one of the Crisis Protocol miniatures that doesn't come in the box set, because there's no GW stuff I want, there's no Batman stuff I want, except I guess the 3rd edition starter once it's available, but that's out of the price range we agree on, which is like roughly 30 quid. Yeah, your mother always gets you something, but no, she will not. We have reached an agreement. We will not. We grew up very poor. We're used to not making a big deal about Christmas. Entire family is doing Secret Santa. As long as you're all into it, there's nothing wrong with that. My family isn't into it, so we try our best to not. I mean, I'll probably end up I'll be baking stuff around the Christmas time, but that's no different in general when I give away my baking to my mother and my sister, because I don't want to eat it all myself. And if I ever accidentally give myself food poisoning, that means I get to spread that love as well. Yeah, do Secret Neighbor instead of Secret Santa. Ugh. Oh, that's good though. What does Ipecac plus #1 do? Does it do what I think it does? Because if it does what I think it does, I can't take it. Unless I already finished the run, and then I'll pick it up and see. Because if I take this and this, I'll literally die because every shot will hit me. I'm going to finish the run first and then we'll pick it up, because I'm pretty sure that makes it unplayable, but I want to see it to make sure. Because my reflection would reflect the Ipecac back at me, that's for sure, because I've had that before. #1 would lower my tier distance, like, horrifically. And they would pull back on you. Thank you, Jack, for gifting a tier 1 sub to CR, whoever that guy is. Probably that Scottish guy who lives in Australia, if I had to guess. Likes to roleplay as some kind of fantasy animal. You know the one. Daddy Longlegs is doing all the work. Yeah, doing a list is perfectly fine. Now that said, I don't mind if I'm... Like, sometimes I don't want anything, as we've already discussed, so like... Last Christmas I remember saying to my sister, oh, I'm really into Batman now, just Batman stuff. And she got me like a Batman t-shirt, and something else, I don't remember what, but... That was perfectly fine. Whereas the year before, and I remember this specifically as well, I just gave a list of like, here's some miniatures I'd like. Here's a big list so that, you know, I don't expect you to get all of these, just pick something at random from the list and that'll do. Driving 2,200 miles between December 20th and 25th? Good grief. You could also not. That's an option. Stay home, watch a Muppet Christmas Carol and Nightmare Before Christmas. Throw in a little Die Hard and Krampus, and then you've got your Christmas sorted. You could watch Iron Man 3, it's technically a Christmas movie. Okay, let's kill Blue Baby and then go try that thing. Gremlins and Shazam. I still haven't seen Shazam either. I know it's out. It's on DVD. Jesus, they've got a lot of fireworks. It's a housing estate over there actually. Maybe they pulled their resources for a big display. Is DVD a new kind of streaming service? Look, I'm old. I don't mind DVDs. I watched I watched Endgame digitally. I just got it on Amazon, and I watched the John Wick 2 on Netflix, and then I bought John Wick 3 digitally on Amazon to watch it just in the once. Because I figured I wouldn't want to watch them more than once. Okay, would this have been murder? Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's what I thought. Okay. What if I'm moving when I fire? It actively hunts me. Betrayal. Okay, I'm glad that I was right about what would have happened. Alright, let's put a run in the books and say thank you, YouTube, for watching. See you next time.